Hello, welcome. This is Art of Cycling. I'm Greg Leach, the artist herein. So we're at the final week of the Tour de France. May well be over by the time I post these. Sorry about that. I got behind for various reasons in getting these posted the same day or day after. Yeah, I had a little medical scare. Everything's fine, but I had blood clots. Just kind of wigged me out, but that required a couple of ER trips and the like, so I got off schedule. But got everything dealt with, and now we're back painting the tour, and we're healthy and banned from the bicycle for a while because of blood thinners and the possibility of jarring blood clots. So I'm going to have to do the rest of my July bike riding vicariously through the tour. Actually, I'm not allowed to ride till I've done the blood thinners, so fortunately I've got the Olympics that I'll be painting as well. Probably will not be doing these videos for those. And the Tour de France Femme, or the Women's Tour, depending on how you want to. It's officially the Tour de France Femme avec Swift, but Swift isn't paying me. If you all want to, I'd be happy to. Except, although I am not an indoor riding guy. I've got a trainer, but ugh. I don't know if any of y'all do it, but I just find it tedious. Every year I talk about, well, I could set up the trainer and watch the tour and then jump off and paint what I want to paint. I mean, the logistics of that are insane. But says the guy who once thought, well, I could actually paint the race from the back of a motorcycle. So it could be argued that scene ideas are not my strong suit. Like painting the Tour de France live. Let's face it, that's crazy, right? So, meanwhile, back to what we're doing here. So we are stage 18. So closing in on the end of the tour. Not exactly sure why Sean Quinn, here, the American champion, is leading out Carapaz, his teammate and winner of yesterday's stage, up this climb, Cap 4, right in the middle of the stage, but he's leading him out in hopes it'll get maximum points. I mean, that race is all but decided. And the leaders, so the polka dot jersey, the King of the Mountain jersey, is held by Tadej Pogačar, who is the leader of the tour in the yellow jersey. So the honor of wearing the polka dots actually goes to the guy in second, Vingegaard, and he's well ahead of these guys. But Carapaz has been challenged every climb and beaten, I might add, by a guy who's sprinting up right now. And that's Lazcano. There we go, Lazcano. And oh, you can't see the other guy in here. Oh well. So, but part of me is why? Why are you doing this? There's been a lot of times where I go, why? Particularly yesterday when Tade in yellow attacked the guy sitting second and third in the tour. It's like it was actually their job to attack him. And I was kind of going, why? I mean, it was exciting and enlivened the race, but it's Tade's one fault. And believe me, he doesn't really, I mean, it's hardly a fault to be an aggressive rider, particularly from those of us who enjoy watching exciting racing. Tade will always give you exciting racing. And therefore, but it can be argued that that's why he ended up not winning the Tour last year, is he put in so many of those kind of attacks over the course of the race that when he got to the end of the Tour, he was just spent. And then that's when Fingergo really put time into him. But yet, there he was yesterday doing the exact same thing. He did gain some time on Vingegaard, a whole 2 seconds, which is not going to win him the Tour de France. Well, the closest margin, I believe, has ever been 8 seconds. And that was in a time trial. And this year, the Tour ends with a time trial. And the guy sitting in second and third happened to be very good time trialists. So I think, not that Tade is not good at it, but I think he's a little nervous about that final time trial. And I know I've said it before, but it'll be exciting, interesting, different to watch the race be 21 stages of racing instead of the more traditional final day being more processional and celebratory as they come into Paris. And then a day, there are often a few breakaway attempts. Got a little fuzzball on the end of my brush there. There we go. In fact, last year also uncommon, and I don't think it was serious, but that they attacked on the Champs-Élysées. Under normal circumstances, that just doesn't happen. The positions that are established by, I didn't sign this piece and title it. Playing around with titles, and my website used to tell me if I'd used the same title already. It doesn't do that anymore when I post them. So had a moment going, is that? So I was going to use top, but changed it to summit because I don't often do that. So I figured, well, that'll guarantee I'm not repeating myself. So this is the Stars and Stripes of the American champion Sean Quinn. And the Slovenian flag. There have been a lot of Slovenian fans, understandably. It's like when Sagan was racing, you would see so many Slovakian flags. And of course, Colombian flags have shown up over the years quite a bit as well. But of course, it's an international sport, obviously. And so you see lots of flags along the side of the road. But of course, on the tour, the most famous or most prevalent is the American flag. Sorry, I was just looking to see what I may need next. So the mountains in the distance are very quite distant, so just going to give a little vague color indication, which is about what you see from the camera position. You, of course, don't get to see what I'm painting from. And I know I've talked about it, but yeah, that's an important part. This is what's important, not necessarily what the source was. But obviously your source is your inspiration. But the viewer will never see your still life that you've set up, or the likelihood of seeing your exact location of a landscape or whatever it is you paint. But the viewer will see your finished piece. So that black's not going to be dark enough. So now I want to build it darker. And the main reason it wasn't dark enough, it wasn't that the color was wrong, is that I had too much water. The amount of water to pigment determines how dark things are. Now it's still a little wet, so maybe it wasn't wise to go over it just yet. But you can see how now I've gotten a darker quote-unquote black. So as I do this in the lack of how unspecific things are, the strokes of the wheels back here. This is something that particularly watercolor makes much more possible than my main media. And if you go to my website, craigleach.com, you can see I also do a lot of oil stick paintings and some stained glass and mixed media. But the oil stick paintings, having that vagueness, lack of, I'm going to try that word, specificity. Yeah, it keeps close. Don't you love it when you stumble over words? But this is what's one of the reasons I like using the watercolors to do this. The other, of course, is that I'm doing this live, and the watercolor is a very quick media. So just about done with this. Remind you to thank you. Leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think of the work. Obviously, that also helps other people find the paintings, find the work. And yeah, and if you'd like to see these as they pop up, there's 3 more stages. And then, of course, the women's race starts. So if you do, subscribe, and you'll get notified when the other work shows up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you watching.